my fabrication shop. These guys are pretty good. I gotta tell you, if you can hear me over the traffic here, this is why you hire professionals. They have improved my design, and I think that's going to work out good. These guys have so far been great to work with, and I don't expect any different. They did have a challenge getting the material in. It wasn't their fault. It's just the industry right now with COVID. This 1x2 stock is hard to come by, and but they got it in, so that's awesome. So we have that going on. So these guys are going to start working on this soon. I'm going to tape a little bit of that. They're prepping right now, and hopefully it won't be the whole day, but probably a good chunk of the day to get this done. We'll see. And it's going to get noisy in here today. All right, so the door project has begun, and first thing we discovered is this is all kind of on the weak side. So if you're doing a unicell, this is not all that structural. So we're going to connect this to that and put an angle here. That'll beef that up. We're going to run an angle piece all the way across here, so that, and tie that all in. So they're basically going to frame this on the inside and strengthen it all up. And so if you're doing one of these unicell boxes and you want to redo your rear door, prepare. The outer frame strengthened up the truck in a very big way. That's all welded now together, so create a nice little box up there all around that fiberglass. Strengthen the rear end of this truck like in a major way, and we now have something to work off of for door frame number 1. Yeah, there's more than one frame, so there you go. We're getting there. All right, we got a drip edge. Last push today. Here we go. All right, we're close. The outside door skin panels are on. Got to mount these and then start putting insulation in them. Gasketing, the whole thing. But we're getting there. Really the big day for me I've been trying to get to this milestone for a while, but now you can see it. My door is on. I have a door. So this ought to be interesting. I changed out my material. I had a PVC board that I originally put in. It was about a 1/4 inch thick. Smooth on one side, textured on the other, you know, box store stuff. And it's pretty heavy. It was just, I think, too heavy. My neighbor had this. It's pretty thin. It's very thin. And it's very light. So I figure if I glue that to this, I accomplish the same thing. And it works out perfect that I end up with about a 1/4 inch left over in my door frame, which is under here, to put my inside sheathing on, whatever that's going to be. I think I might know. So I did a test. And I glued, hold on bear with me. I glued a piece of it to styrofoam and metal, with a couple of different glues. And I gotta tell you, the stuff that held, well, one of the glues I used just melted the styrofoam, but the rest was really hard to get off. It really held, it held well. And yeah, I was able to break it, but in most cases what it did was it just separated. It's just split the material, just separated right off a whole layer. There it is, stuck to the, you know, so the epoxy that I used worked really well. And all I did was buy this stuff, really cheap, general epoxy. So, well, it's like $2.97 at Walmart for a little tube. I just don't know how long it'll last. The downside to it too is it's a two-part, so you got to mix it and spread it out. So I'm working on that solution next. So I went, bought myself a bunch of it. I got 3 or 4 of these, and I'm hoping that I can make it work. And we'll see how it goes. But I've cut my material to fit, tested it, put it in the door. I'm going to put the glue on this and spread it over. I think a smart move though is to clean this to make sure it's going to hold. So I did pick up, and this is a little risky because this stuff probably doesn't work well on this, but I'm going to try a little acetone with a little light wash of acetone on there. I think one of the challenges with acetone, I'm hoping that it evaporates, because I think acetone is also used to thin down these epoxy glues. So I don't know if that makes it weaker or stretch its use and, you know, coverage a bit more. I'm not an expert at this at all. So we're just going to wing it. So here's what I can tell you. I spread a little bit, gave it a try, and what's interesting is it doesn't last very long. These little tubes don't go very far. So I used 3.5, and I got about half this piece done. This part is still not even glued. Sticking good, but they don't sell it in a large enough volume for me to work with. So I gotta try plan B. At least I got some acetone to clean up. It does take it off your hands pretty good, so it does break the glue. So plan B, I either gotta go find a whole bunch more of that, which Walmart was out, Lowe's was out, Home Depot didn't have it. Kind of a problem. All right, so I have managed to glue up half of this sheet because I only had 3 sticks of this last time, and that's all it covered. So minimal coverage if you're going to do this. So I went around, by the way, I just bought these at Walmart. I can't find this in any volume. This is less than an ounce. It was $3, kind of expensive. So I went out and bought another dozen, 12, 14 of them, or whatever. Hopefully that'll be enough to finish this other half, and then I'll just glue these together, and we'll show you what we're doing. So I just grab my knife, snip these ends off. Might as well throw them in the trash. Dump all the epoxy right out on the foam. Nice big goob. Now you only have about 5 minutes before this stuff starts setting up. So stir and spread quickly. The important thing is to definitely get out to the edges. And it's nice is you don't need a thick coat of this stuff.
All right. Got pretty good coverage with that. Let's see how it goes. Now, it came prepared. I have a tool. I think it'll be pretty handy. I got this when I bought a bunch of pipe clamps from a retired cabinet maker who also had a big roll of laminate, which you're going to see in the future. I gotta tell you, I think half of the fun I've had of building this project has been scouring for materials and tools and things that I've needed. I've driven quite a bit of the state getting things. I've been to, well, I just haven't had to go north yet. It's up really quick. So there you go. Flip that over. This side gets glued down onto this sheet. So let's just, short. All right, so that's basically it. I'm going to do that one more time. So there you have it. 2 panels glued up. Took that very flimsy material, made it very rugged. Gotta be sure these two don't stick together. And I gotta tell you, I think it came out pretty good. That acetone was the good stuff to buy. Takes that glue right off. Now I got to decide, do I paint this now or put it in and then paint them? So what am I painting it? Why would I paint it? Clear coat. I got a whole bunch of cans of clear coat satin finish. Didn't want to shine too much. But you know, my fiberglass body's a little shiny, so it couldn't go matte. But I think that'll be good. It's just really all about just protecting it so it just doesn't get so dirty and easier to clean off of the paint than it is off of this stuff, which I think could hold some dirt. I got a few spots. I'm still working on it. I'm told that magic eraser works. I have not tried it, but I'll tell you that acetone took all the ink off my fingers, which comes from the foam board. So now the trick is adhering that board, this foam board, to aluminum. And you're wondering, how the heck am I going to do that, right? So I found some tape I think will do the job. I think tape makes the most sense. This is a VBH tape, whatever, very hard, I don't know, 3M, VHB? VHB tape. So I think tape's the way to go. And the reason is the tape, double-sided, has a little foam core to it, and that will give the board and the aluminum some flexibility to move a little bit, because I think they're going to move over temperature changes slightly differently. And I don't want, if I just put glue, you know, the epoxy in, I think that's just too hard of a bond that will just snap as soon as it starts to contract and expand too much, and it will be no bond. So this, I'm hoping, is just thick enough to, in the foam, to give it some movement. I'm not going to go crazy with it. I just need it to kind of hold in there. I think that'll work. So that's what that's doing. We'll see how that goes next and see if I can get my door put together. All right, it's clamped up right now. I tell you, that double-sided tape was a little on the tricky side. And I had to cut out for this on both doors. So getting it in, I found just putting the tape in first and then squeezing the panel in worked on this door better. So don't put the panel in first if you're doing the exact same door as I did, because, you know, like I said, I had these little cutout plates in the corners, and I had to squeeze that sandwich underneath that and then put the tape in, try to sneak it in and pull the tape, you know, the top protective tape off, and that just didn't work very well. It was kind of a pain. I got it done, but I didn't like it. I'd have been better off just doing what I did with this one, putting the tape down and then squeezing the board in, keeping it off the tape until I got it all the way in. It was a little tricky, but I did it. Just putting a little compression on it. This stuff really sets up pretty fast. Really all done probably. And there you go. I got two doors built. I can obviously come back and build some caulking in there, some foam. When this all sets up, seal that off a little bit better, plus an inside sheathing piece, which will come right in here nice and slick, because that's about 1/4 inch. In fact, right on the money. That's going to come in nice. And so I will have, you know, a nice little panel that comes in here that I'll glue to this. That'll strengthen it even that much more, because there's still a little flex in here, but that'll strengthen it up. A little trim piece around the inside. We'll call it good. That's basically it, folks. So now I get to rehang these doors and latch them up. I need to go back to my local farmer store, get one more latch for my floor pins. I need one more of those on the bottom door, left door, and that's it. So there you go. Building this from scratch, I gotta tell you, just way more complicated than I thought it would be. Trial and error, go a couple steps forward, take a step back. Didn't like a couple things, had to undo it. It's just the way it is when you're making custom stuff and you don't do this every day, right? So I appreciate the challenge. That was fun. Figured it out. Came out with a pretty good result. So I'm okay. Wasted a little bit of money. Yeah, the first panel, those were 70 bucks for those that I just not going to use, 1/4 inch stuff. These are so much lighter now. And yeah, I bought a ton of that Loctite glue. Had a few extra left over. So that's still that would cost me 20 bucks just to glue these two here together, which is kind of stupid. I probably could have, if I'd been able to shop in advance, I probably could have ordered some stuff in bulk, got it in, mixed the two together, and been okay. I just didn't have access to that. I didn't have time for that. So sometimes you pay to play. All right, welcome. Let's see how quick I can give you guys an update on where I've been doing. So, ta-da, the rear door. Long time waiting to get it started. It was a few days in the shop, fabricating all of this and getting it to, you know, kind of work. It's not done. Got to make a few small adjustments. I need to put in some more trim along these seams for these doors, and then some more gasketing. I've done some gaskets now, but basically, barn door, people. This had a roll-up door. That's running away from me. It's a little windy out here. Nice and easy. Chain pull, opens up. I got a barn door.
But as you know, in a van, everything needs to do two things. This does that. It's a canopy. Got to put the pistons on. I have the pistons or the shocks. I just didn't have the hardware. Got to order that. I think they're strong enough to hold this up there. And then I'll put a safety bar in as well and tie it back to the truck or to something else. So double duty canopy. Extend my living space. I got basically a 5 by 6 foot area out here now. Feet right there. Pretty cool. Best part is they just pin right back into place. They lock in and you're done.